I'm finally coming to terms with the fact that I'm taking a career break or a sabbatical or a gap year, adult gap year, to find myself. Over the last month and a half, I would say a month, yeah, month and a half, I've transitioned from corporate to full on fun employment. I've also been a little bit busy. So even though I did leave my job in corporate, another job reached out and I was actually in the process of interviewing. Fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know. Everything has a reason. But a few days later, after that interview thing, God, they finally told me that, okay, I didn't get the job. And my first reaction was actually relief. I know no one likes rejection. And yes, I felt like, hey, I put in my thing. But I actually felt relief that now I can actually start enjoying and planning my sabbatical, my break. And what I am planning is about a year long sabbatical. And it's so weird to say I'm not looking, like I could finally say that I'm not looking for any other job. Like I really am not. And let me bring up my notes. It's right here. When I was journaling this morning, but I kind of started to think about how what that relief meant for me because it felt like my body knew I needed a break before my mind could catch up. like like the moment I like something I just felt like mind wise, okay, wah, they didn't pick you, but body wise I'm like, yes, finally. I started to look up like events to go to. Like I was in full break mode and I was like, God, thank you. Like we know we needed this, but like my tendency to just always like, let me just be safe and secure kind of kicked in. But I was so happy. All right, so when I say my body knew before and also my mindset to catch up was like maybe about a year to today. Like around this time last year, I remember coming back from work one day and I was like, by this time next year, I'm not gonna be here. And that was for major reasons that I've talked about in like previous videos which you could look at. But I was like, there's something in me like no matter what happens, I'm not gonna be here next year. And I'm fortunate enough to say that I am not there anymore. But even during that time, and I kid you not, I was looking through like my Amazon orders. Like I had bought a book about taking a career break. I started to listen to podcasts just to kind of get my mind up to speed. I started to, watch different videos about even leaving the US because who knows? Like I've always wanted to, maybe live in like a Spanish speaking country. So I've always, I don't know, I've always just wanted to do that, maybe for a short amount of time or maybe a long amount of time. But it just made me think like, wow, like we were planning this. So it would have been so unfortunate if I'm like, oh, now I'm going back to work. Like even the thought process of thinking, oh, I'm going to go back to work kind of scared me a bit, even though I had been away from work just a few weeks. But I'm glad that happened. So as I think about my sabbatical, I call like my sabbatical solace. Yeah, something very peaceful. I think about it and I'm grounding it on this statement. This is what I wrote today. So, like, as I'm planning it, this is my grounding statement. So, why this sabbatical? To finally have time to know myself, to finally have time to know myself outside being the responsible one, to heal, to what I write, to create, to experiment, and to live instead of existing. And one thing I would say, like, I worked in sales for a long time, so I'm very analytical by nature. But one metric I'm using to assess this whole year that I'm doing is fun. Fun is my ultimate metric. Am I having fun? How can I add more fun to my day? How can I add more joy to my day? Is what I want to think of by this time next year. So by this time next year, we'll be having another chit chat of like how it went and what it looks like. But to be honest, like even when I'm thinking about it, I also thought about themes that I want to be able to have during this whole year to keep myself organized a little bit. I can't help but do that. But some of my core themes are personal growth, creativity, adventure, health and well-being, and then the last one I would say is learning, right? So for personal growth, I definitely think that putting myself out there, being bold was the word for my year this year. So in all aspects of what I'm doing, I want to be bold and change and grow to the person, the woman that I'm supposed to be. Second is health and wellness, like health and wellness, well-being. I definitely need to I've fallen off a little bit of my gym routine. I'm not gonna lie, but I do think like my like physical exercise, but also sleep is one metric that I want to be able to do. And thank God for my Fitbit. I could use it, track my sleep, be able to make sure that I'm actually, my goal is like 8 hours. Like if I could average 8 hours for this year, ooh, that would be nice. Like I feel like I would be so refreshed. The muscles would have grown, would have time to recoup. So I'm excited for that, health wise, and then well being wise, and then creativity. How can I get into new things? Like have talked about like whether it's like my guitar, improv class, like different things that I want to be able to be like a beginner again is exciting to me, and I want to theme it that way. Oh, I forgot actually. Adventure was one. I don't know if I said it earlier, but adventure was the other theme because I want to explore. I'm curious by nature, so I want to. What food are you eating? What language are you speaking? What country are you from? Like when I hear an accent, I'm like ding 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 ding. Where are you from? You know, but it's always very interesting for me, like to get that sense of adventure where I live, like the state that I live in, or maybe I might travel. Either way, I'll plan that out and use my points to be able to get that in an affordable way. And then learning is, oh man, so many books that I've so many books that I have. But I'm doing a mix of actually reading the physical book and audiobooks. I think that would help me out. So I definitely want to read more fiction. I tend to read more nonfiction, which to me, I'm like, why so serious? But I will try and do more for that. But learning new languages, all that. But anyway, those are like my core themes. And when I think about it, right, do I really want to go back to corporate? Deep down inside, I don't. Like I like like the institution, the foundation is great, but I really wouldn't like to. If I have to, that's fine. I know life happens, but I would want to not do it. And I've always kind of known it deep down inside, like growing up in Nigeria and like my mom having her business, like most of the family like didn't work 9 to 5. So my own upbringing was more so like even when I always thought about corporate, I always thought about it as hey, I'm using it to build the skills for my own thing, but I hadn't yet thought about what would be my own thing. What do I need to test out? And so even during this time of experimentation, like I want to test out like how can I make money online, right? How can I build this other source? Like how can I cover my monthly expenses and be financially free and be time free, because I think yes, financially, money wise, but the time freedom is what I want to get at, that I could do whatever I want with my time. And this is kind of like testing it out, like like mini retirement, because I'm young, I have the time and then the money to spend it, because that's going to be different if you're older and you may not have the health anymore, you may not have the energy, you may not have as much, whatever it is. But I'm in a unique situation where I could do that. So even having this time is weird to me. And I'm like, what do I do? But I also don't want to fill it so much that I don't get to rest, because I have been burnt out. I have gotten sick from work. I have gotten to a place where like, who am I anymore? Like that's a very valid feeling for what I am going through on a day to day, and removing my work identity from like who I actually am. So it's been a lot of I don't know if it's a readjusting or reassessing, or I don't know. Like it's a very interesting month and a half. All right, let me see what else that I wrote here today. And yes, I thought about like income wise, right? So I want to be able to uh, have more revenue streams to be able to make money cover my expenses. But one thing that I'm very cognizant of is I'm not necessarily looking to replace my income, because it was already relatively high. And with that high salary came at its cost, right? Like your time is not mostly yours. It's like work-life balance, all that. Like I really have gotten to a place where I now have an enough number, or like my content number. Like as long as I'm paid this, that's fine. Like I've been able to like build and invest and set up foundations that I could be okay, and be able to retire earlier, and be more free with my money. But I don't think I want to strive for that huge, like after you get to that specific not revenue, but like a pay band or whatsoever, like you would always want more. Like you would always want more. I remember looking, because at this time when I'm like I'm honestly, this whole month has been kind of like reassessing. Like I've donated some clothes. It just feels like a shedding in some way. But I found my very first paycheck. I don't know what led me to keep it after how many years. But even looking at that and looking at like my expenses, it hasn't really my expenses haven't really grown too much. Thank God I didn't, lifestyle creep. But I was like, wow, I made so much less then and so much more now. And was I happier? Was I more happier then? Yes. Was I less stressed? Yes. So the income, I want to be able to grow that. Like I want to be able to enjoy, even if I make more than I ever made in corporate, that's fine as long as I'm enjoying it and fun is that metric. I want to be able to do that. And so, okay, I did talk about with the time that I have, it's very now I get to see like some of my self-destructive habits or like I want to be able to get rid of them. Some of them being, doom scrolling. Doom scrolling is a really big thing because I was like, I want to live and be outside. I want to, you can't just like, honestly, there's some weeks, I'm very hyper productive and hyper performing. Like sometimes you feel like I need to do something, like I need to make this week matter, or if not, I don't know what the thought process is. Sorry, I'm like leaning back in my chair because at this point, I don't know what to do with my back. But I like with this time that I have, I'm getting more cognizant and aware of like the habits that I've had. And I don't want to turn into burnout. So doom scrolling is what I was like, social media, I'm putting like a timer on that, how long I'm supposed to spend with that, how long I'm supposed to binge some content because I do want to don't not spend the whole year sitting at home. I don't want to sit at home on my phone or not be present or obsess over different things. So doom scrolling is one thing that I want to be able to reduce over the next year. Actually, over the next month. I'm not going to wait for. I want to reduce that. But what? Oh yeah, two things I wrote like perfectionist tendencies. There is a form and a sense, like a part of me that feels like I can't start something until it's one way. Like it needs to be the right time, the right this, the right that, and I am just I'm pushing myself now to do it afraid, to do it scared, to do it even when you're not ready. And who am I trying to prove it for? No, just trying it out is like I don't even know if it's my motto now, but it's more exciting for me to feel like, let me just have this time to try. So I want to get rid of those perfectionist, tendencies to just so I could push myself out there and be bold. Boldness was my word for this year. And so as I'm, we're how many months into the year now? I want to be able to grow in that sense and be like, hey, how was I bold? How did I show up in my boldness last year? And then poor sleep hygiene or poor sleep, like because of how my sleep has been a little bit off, so I want to get better at preparing to sleep. Like my nighttime routine, which I have down, but I want to sleep 8 hours. Like my goal, if I could average 8 hours, I'm going 7 to 8 hours, but I would say a good goal is to always sleep 8 hours. Like why not? Like I'm not rushing to work, I'm not doing any alarm. That would be amazing. Okay, what else did I write here? Yes, I really, even as I'm talking about this, I also don't want to fall into over optimizing my time. Like I have to plan everything. Like there is a tendency to be like, okay, well I'm gonna do this on Monday, do this, and overpack my schedule. Da, da, da. No, 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 no. It's funny because sometimes, like for my close friends, I know that I'm unemployed, they're really great about this. But for other people that, as I introduce myself, they might think I have all the time in the world, or people might actually close people to you might think you have all the time in the world, so they could always call you at this time. I've had to, call some family friend members out. I'm like, hey, we could talk and I could stay with you on the phone for hours, but I also want to be out. So sorry, can we just cut this? Can we cut this short and I'll talk to you another time? Because I want to enjoy, and even if I'm not doing nothing, what is there's something, is it dosed in like the joy of doing nothing? It was in some movie, but if I find it, I'll put it in. I don't know where. I don't know. It'll come to me if it's needed. But the joy of just doing nothing, even if I just have to go to a park, hopefully when the sun is down, I want to be able to enjoy that. All right. And then, yeah, what did I thought? I also thought about how every day is. Like every day now is different. There's no alarms. There's no standard procedure of like how I eat, I pray, I go to this. Like I'm making that up as I go. Um, and it's freeing. It's very freeing, but also very new for me because I'm like, wait, you mean I don't have rules anymore? Like, how do I do this? But I'm learning that even within this time, and it's been a month, and a day in a life looks a little bit different. I could talk about that more once I've settled into the rhythm over the next months. But um, and I would say like the last piece that I'll talk about is the transition off of corporate, because now that I feel like I'm not getting that 2 week paycheck anymore. So like I recently had to transfer like from my savings account to my checking account, like my savings. And I was like, oh my gosh, wow, this is so different. Like, am I my own bank? No, like, am I now taking money from my own self? But within this last month, like, there are a couple of things that have been, taking my time. The admin process, like, not having insurance in it. So I'm going on like all the doctor visits. I'm rolling over my 401k because whatever you do, please do not keep your 401k in your old employer. Please use your money and diversify it more. And then roll over for my 401k. And then I actually had to stop my automatic like investments, automatic savings. That was like tough for me because I was like, wow, this not like I've done this for years. Like this is so interesting, and I don't know. I need to learn how to make money somehow on the internet responsibly, because I know some people be doing some type of stuff on the internet. But it's just been very, very interesting. But today I had that moment to just think and say like, wow, I'm actually going to be on this break. I'm going to be on this extended break. I'm not looking for a job anymore. I'm not looking, and honestly, I actually am going to deactivate LinkedIn, because LinkedIn can be like it feels like I need a separation. And I'm contemplating whether to post like, hey, I'm taking a break, maybe I'm not taking a break. But LinkedIn, I think I'm going to stop that because I don't want to be in that bubble, at least for a few months, or like look into that. So we'll see how that goes. But I am excited for what this year is going to bring. I'm excited for the opportunities, for the growth, for the new things I tend to try. I get to try and enjoy and spend time with loved ones, and learn more about myself and find myself in the process. So I think that's a mouthful. I think, yeah, now I'm getting hungry. I'm probably gonna get get some lunch. But that's my thought for today. If you like this, um, and if this resonates with you, like, follow the journey, ask me questions. And if you had 1 year to yourself, 1 year of free time funded, okay, even if you can't afford it, but if it was funded, what would you do? What would you do? I might still some ideas. I'm still going to be grounded in mine. But what would you do with that time if it was like your full 1 year sabbatical, career break, or gap year? All right, I will see you in my next video. Like, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.